Saigon, a cultural gem and one of Orange County's fastest-growing economic engines. Rooted in resilience, community, and bold entrepreneurship, it tells the story of a people who came with hope and built a legacy. 50 years ago, the Vietnamese community arrived in the U.S. Today, Orange County is home to the largest Vietnamese population outside of Vietnam, and Little Saigon stands proudly at its heart. Join OC Forum as we honor this incredible journey with powerful stories, business breakthroughs, and the enduring spirit of a community that never gave up. Celebrate 50 years of Vietnamese American excellence. Little Saigon, where culture meets commerce and history shapes the future. For more information, visit ocforum.org/events.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janice Bachman, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of OC Forum. We're so excited about today's event. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's exciting event in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnamese community's arrival in the United States. At OC Forum, we aim to engage the Orange County community in an interactive environment that cultivates relationships, promotes exchanges of ideas, and fosters thoughtful discussion around a variety of diverse, relevant, and timely topics. We like to act as a catalyst to elevate public discussion, encourage collaboration, and inspire community and stakeholders to address and solve the complex issues of today. I want to take a moment to thank each of you for being here today and for your continued support. Your engagement and dedication are what make these impactful conversations so meaningful and so successful. We've placed a few items on your table today to help you engage with us, and I hope you will. You'll notice that there's a QR code available for you to scan and take a quick survey. And your participation in the survey will help us to continue to bring you the content that you're most interested in. And everyone who completes the survey will be entered into an opportunity drawing for 4 tickets for Vietnamese Heritage Day at Angels Stadium on August 3rd. If you're interested, the Angels will be playing the White Sox that day. Additionally, there are some comment cards on your table. We'll be collecting those cards so that you can present your questions directly to our speakers later in the program. I also want to note that all of our programs are recorded, so if you want to pass along this program later on, we hope you'll do that. It's going to be a great program today. I'd like to take a moment to recognize my colleagues on the OC Forum Board of Directors who helped make today's program possible. These dedicated individuals generously give their time and expertise and passion to support our mission. Will all of the board members please stand so that we can acknowledge you? I also want to give a special thanks to Julie Tomanpos and Teresa Wright, who led the charge on specifically on today's program. This is amazing. Thank you so much for all the work you put into it. It's really incredible. In addition to today's featured speakers, we're honored to have some local elected officials and their representatives joining us today, including the mayors of Fountain Valley, Garden Grove, and Westminster. So please welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. And if you are an elected official, please stand. And again, I want to recognize Mayor Stephanie Klopfenstein from Garden Grove, Ted Bowie from Fountain Valley, and Charlie Chi Nguyen from Westminster. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, I want to recognize the sponsors and the supporters who make these programs possible. A special thanks to UCI and UCI Health, our title sponsors for the 5th consecutive year. And additionally, I'd like to recognize our special partnership with Little Saigon TV and Wells Fargo, without whom this event would not be possible. So before we begin our program, I'd like to invite my friend Julie Tomanpos to the stage. She serves as the Associate Vice President of Philanthropy and Community Impact at Wells Fargo and is also on our board of directors for the Orange County Forum. Julie.
I feel like I should stand on the stage. Good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Tomanpos, and I'm honored to be here on behalf of Wells Fargo to support today's OC Forum luncheon titled Exploring 50 Years of Commerce and Community in Little Saigon. Little Saigon stands as a powerful testament to the strength, vision, and entrepreneurial spirit of the Vietnamese American community. What began as a place of refuge has flourished into a cultural and economic powerhouse, not just for Orange County, but for the entire nation. According to the 2024 economic demographic study done by Cal State Fullerton, Little Saigon is home to nearly 11,000 small businesses, employing close to 50,000 workers and contributing over $2 billion in annual payroll. These numbers tell a powerful story, and behind them are even more powerful people. Entrepreneurs, workers, artists, civic leaders, and families who turned adversity into opportunity. At Wells Fargo, we are proud to support small businesses and economic development in communities like Little Saigon. And we believe that when we invest in the resilient and culturally rich neighborhoods in our community, we're investing in a more inclusive economy for all. As we reflect on the past 50 years, let's also look ahead to ensure that the next 50 are just as dynamic, inclusive, and full of promise. Wells Fargo is committed to being part of that journey with you all. Thank you again to the OC Forum for creating this space, and to all of you for continuing to invest in the future of Little Saigon. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a special treat, something that may be a first for OC Forum, an Ao Dai fashion show. This will be presented, yes, it's very exciting for us. This is presented by Câu lạc bộ Tình Nghệ sĩ, the Vietnamese Artist Friendship Club. This organization brings together Vietnamese artists from around the world to preserve and promote the Vietnamese culture, supporting emerging talent and advocating for democracy, freedom, and human rights in Vietnam. Today, they're honoring our community's rich heritage through the timeless beauty of the Ao Dai, a symbol of grace, resilience, and cultural pride. Set to the song Ta Ao Dai, composed by Dr. Cao Minh Hưng, part of our community, who recently was nominated as API Month honoree for Assembly District 70. Please join me in welcoming Câu lạc bộ Tình Nghệ sĩ to the stage for this special presentation.
Áo dài áo dài tung bay tà áo dài dịu dàng trong từng bước em đi áo cuộn quê hương tình đất nước mang hồn dân tộc 4.000 năm tung bay áo dài mãi tung bay thẹn thùng e ấp nét đoan trang ngất ngây nhìn ngắm tà áo lượn áo dài em mặc áo quê hương áo xanh lộng gió in mây trời áo hồng đào thắm nhánh hương xuân áo đỏ hoa phượng trong lưu bút áo trắng thơ ngây tuổi mộng mơ áo lam quyện khói theo sương chiều áo vàng ngày tết thắm hoa mai áo cam khoe màu vầng dương sáng, áo tím hoa sim chờ đợi ai. Tung bay áo dài mãi tung bay, hỡi em cô gái Việt Nam ơi. Áo dài thêm đẹp hồn dân tộc, tự hào gì quá áo Việt Nam. Tung bay tà áo dài, dịu dàng trong từng bước em đi. Áo cuộn quê hương tình đất nước, mang hồn dân tộc 4.000 năm. Tung bay áo dài mãi tung bay, hẹn cùng e ấp nét đoan trang. Ngất ngây nhìn ngắm tà áo lượn, áo dài em mặc áo quê hương. Áo xanh lộng gió in mây trời, áo hồng đào thắm nhánh hương xuân. Áo đỏ hoa phượng trong lưu bút, áo trắng thơ ngây tuổi mộng mơ. Áo lam quyện khói theo sương chiều, áo vàng ngày Tết thắm hoa mai. Áo cam khoe màu vầng dương sáng, áo tím hoa sim chờ đợi ai. Tung bay áo dài mãi tung bay, hỡi em cô gái Việt Nam ơi. Áo dài thêm đẹp hồn dân tộc, tự hào xinh quá áo Việt Nam. Áo xanh lộng gió in mây trời, áo hồng đào thắm nhánh hương xuân. Áo đỏ hoa phượng trong lưu bút, áo trắng thơ ngây tuổi mộng mơ. Áo lam quyện khói theo sương chiều, áo vàng ngày Tết thắm hoa mai. Áo cam khoe màu vầng dương sáng, áo tím hoa sim chờ đợi ai. Tung bay áo dài mãi tung bay, hỡi em cô gái Việt Nam ơi. Áo dài thêm đẹp hồn dân tộc, tự hào xinh quá áo Việt Nam. Áo dài thêm đẹp hồn dân tộc, tự hào xinh quá áo Việt Nam. Áo dài thêm đẹp hồn dân tộc, tự hào xinh quá áo Việt Nam. Áo dài xinh quá áo Việt Nam.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to introduce today's moderator. Through decades of tangible actions and meaningful results, Tam Nguyen's name has become synonymous with professional dedication, community service, and unparalleled education commitment in Orange County. With significant achievements, he stands as a testament to the power of education, hard work, and community involvement. Tam arrived in California with his family as refugees at the end of the Vietnam War in 1975. From those challenging beginnings, Nguyen and his family established a foundation in the Little Saigon community of giving back locally and globally, setting an example for others to join in many campaigns that have made a difference in the lives of countless people, setting a high bar for excellence in service and philanthropy while inspiring others to join a force for good. Tam is the second-generation business owner of Advanced Beauty College, with multiple campuses in Southern California, graduating about 50,000 beauty professionals over its 35-year history. Their nail salon training program, based in Little Saigon, is an established leader and one of the largest in the country. Additionally, Tam is the past chairman and CEO of the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce and the current co-chair of the Orange County Diverse Business Leaders. He's taught business management at Cal State Fullerton as a faculty member since 2016. He's very active in the community, serving in leadership roles for numerous public agencies and for nonprofits such as Cal State Fullerton Philanthropic Board of Governors, MetroLink, Orange County Community Foundation, Memorial Care's Orange Coast Medical Center, Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center, and the Orange County Transportation Authority. And fun fact, he also served as one of our Disneyland Resort Scholarship judges back in the day and came along on one of our prize patrols, which is actually where I met him. Please join me in welcoming Tam Nguyen to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Wow, thank you so much, Janice. Thank you for the love and support from OC Forum and the leadership. And thanks for bringing that Disneyland magic and support to Little Saigon. What an honor. First and foremost, I just want to dedicate, I'm joined here by my wife, Christine, and my sister, Lynn. Please stand to be recognized. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do all that I do in the community if it weren't for my CEO at home and my CEO at the beauty college and family business. So really appreciate them. So good afternoon, everyone. It's what an honor for me to be here with you today as we are here in Little Saigon. 50 years of Little Saigon. Thank you, OC Forum, for being here. And so looking forward to hear the stories today of Little Saigon from our panelists. And I'm humbled to be served as your moderator for today's conversation. Also, throughout the conversations we'll hear today, we'll hear powerful stories of tradition, change, vision. Our panelists will represent multiple generations of the Vietnamese American community here. And so these are leaders that each carry a unique perspective on what it means to grow a business in their roles, build trust, and pass on legacy in Little Saigon. So I'm incredibly proud to be part of this dialogue, not just as your moderator today, but as someone personally who has lived and believes deeply in the promise of what's ahead here in Little Saigon. So proud of Little Saigon in Orange County in particular, as the oldest and largest Vietnamese community in the world outside of Vietnam. As much as I love visiting San Jose, Houston, and all the other Little Saigons around the country, and I've been to Little Saigon over in Paris and in Europe and Australia, but we are the best in Orange County. We are the largest, we are the oldest. Yes, let's give it up for Little Saigon, Orange County. With that, let's get started. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage. I'll introduce each of them about the conversation. And so a little bit about the conversation today before I introduce our panelists. Little Saigon isn't just a cultural gem. It's one of the fastest growing economic engines in all of Orange County. Its remarkable success is deeply rooted in community, entrepreneurship, the spirit of resilience that defines the Vietnamese American experience. Today, as mentioned, Orange County is home to the largest Vietnamese community in the world. And the discussion today aims to celebrate the 50th and honor the 50th anniversary of the Vietnamese community's arrival here in the United States and explore these stories, business successes, community spirit that have made Little Saigon such a hub for innovation, commerce, and culture. Without further ado, our first guest and panelist will be Mr. Frank Zhao. Please put your hands. Yes. Xin mời chú Frank. Yes. If I can have Mr. Frank Zhao come up and sit in the second seat, and I'll introduce each of you. And yeah, I'll continue the introductions from my seat. All right, so a little bit about Mr. Frank Zhao. He's the principal developer of the renowned Little Saigon community. Here in Orange County, California, he's played a pivotal role in creating a vibrant cultural enclave here for Vietnamese refugees in the diaspora. His contributions to real estate development have earned him numerous civic and professional awards, solidifying his reputation as an influential leader. To this day, he continues to manage Asian Garden Mall, Phước Lộc Thọ, It's the mall and event center that serves as the cornerstone of Little Saigon, and it's right here on Bolsa Avenue, very close to here. And if you speak to Vietnamese families all around the world, they all know Phúc Lộc Thọ and Asian Garden Malls. Next, I'd like to invite Chị Lin Ko-chan. Is Chị Lin Ko-chan here? Let's put our hands together for Chị Lin Ko-chan. Please, as she comes up and joins us on stage, she is a dedicated advocate for community and philanthropy, focusing her efforts on preserving life stories of first-generation Vietnamese Americans. She's celebrating the rich and beautiful Vietnamese traditional and cultural arts. Lin has founded and continues to serve as the co-president of the Vietnamese American Alumni Chapter at UCI. Zot. Any fellow anteaters? Yes. I see you, Alex, George, and all the anteaters out there. She extends her dedication to community involvement with several other organizations. Thank you for joining us today. Next up, Viet Nguyen. Please put your hand together for Mr. Viet Nguyen. Yes. Hello, Am. So as Viet joins us on stage, he's the co-CEO and executive chef of Key Concepts, the team behind some of Orange County's most popular restaurants, from the Vox Kitchen from Vox Kitchen to, let me get my next page.
At least you remember Vox Kitchen.
That's right. We'll start with Vox Kitchen. You have so many concepts now, we can't remember them all. Key Coffee House, which I was just at this past weekend, right here on Brookhurst. So many concepts. Enai, Nep, I mean, it goes on. He's known for pushing creative boundaries and shaping the local dining scene. Again, part of the fastest and hottest growing restaurant chain in Orange County, Key Concepts. Thank you, Viet. And yes, they are all a stone's throw from here, so those of you who haven't tried one of his restaurants, please do. Next, last but not least, we have Julie Chun. Miss Julie, welcome. She's a dedicated entrepreneur and influential community leader, best known for her role as president of Star Tool Incorporated, a premier manufacturer of nail drill bits based here in Garden Grove, California. Under her leadership, Star Tool has grown into an internationally recognized company known for its commitment to quality, innovation, and service in the nail care industry. All right. Thank you. Yes, so here we go. So here's our panelists, and what I'll do is start the conversation with questions, and feel free to answer with each of you. And maybe I'll start with Chu Frank here, and we'll ask different questions. But feel free to jump in the conversation, answer. We're going to cover a broad variety, so as we have our conversation here today. And then if I can ask someone from the team at OC Forum just to give me time prompts, or if I need to know, just since okay, I'll work with you on that. I'm going to ask Chu Frank, Mr. Frank Zhao, founder of Little Saigon, representing our first gen. I wanted to ask you, in your eyes, sir, what defines the spirit of Little Saigon? And is it a feeling, a value, a way of doing business, or something else?
Well, I first want to thank all of you and thank Orange County Forum for allowing me to be here and the opportunity to speak for the little small business of Little Saigon that grew up with them the last 50 years. I think the accomplishment of the Vietnamese community since 1975 in Little Saigon has been way beyond my imagination when I start out to do business here with them in Little Saigon. To go back a little bit of history, the first generation when we get here, basically we were homeless, no job, not anything else, and I would say substantial majority of us came here with barehanded and looking for a job, looking for way of survivability, from the stage of homeless. And we have gone a long way to be where we are today. And we've been working really, really very hard. And the accomplishment that have given to us and allow us to do has been way beyond what I think we could ask for. So we're thankful for all of that. Then we have proved the survivability and the hard work that we have done over the years, and growing from survival to competitive and to accomplishment. We're trying very hard to be second, trying not to be inferiority, which is we have had in our mind over the years, and somewhat we still do, admittingly. So we're very proud of ourselves, and we're thankful for being able to be in the position of a contributor and the opportunity to rebuild our life and our family.
Thank you, Chu Frank. Yes, let's give a round of applause for Mr. Frank Giles. Anyone else want to help define the spirit of Little Saigon? If not, I'll go on to the next question.
I'll add something
Okay,
on there.
Yes, please.
I'll define Little Saigon as the people. It's the first generation, like Mr. Frank, that came here from their home and built a home here in Little Saigon. They came here without a home, and then they made Little Saigon their new home. They came here with a piece of a memory, or they came with something that they learned, their culture, their values, their traditions from Vietnam, and they brought it here to Little Saigon to make it the way that it is. It's also the people, again, let's say me, the Vietnamese American born. I learned the traditions and the ways from my parents, and to be a part of this community and be involved in it since they were business owners around here. And it's also the new generation that learned things from Vietnam, let's say now, and they brought it here to, let's say, like Viet with his restaurants. He took a part of Vietnam and brought it here for all of us to see. So it's the people.
Thank you, Julie. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. Well, thanks so much for the OC Forum and thanks for everybody to invite me to speak today. Well, essentially, I wanted to add a piece of I call myself a 1.5 generation, where like we weren't born here, we didn't come here, with the hardship. We got here on a plane, so that was I'm thankful for that. But it's also difficult for us to fit in, because we weren't born here. It was very difficult for us to talk to the first generation. Obviously, we came at the second wave. It's difficult for us to connect with the second generation because we were born here. They don't know what's going on over there. What I found interesting, the first time I came to Little Saigon was 2002. So 23 years ago. As a 16-year-old kid who was looking for a job, coming up and down, I didn't know who I can count on. I didn't know if I go to a restaurant that was the first generation, or do I work for the second generation. There was nowhere in between for me. And that was one of the reasons why I felt like we didn't have a voice. And so the voice was, how do I connect the first generation with the second generation and the second wave of the technically a 1.5 generation. We came here, we studied as an international student. We didn't have a home. And so when I came here, settled down, we opened a restaurant. And because we didn't have a voice, and I wanted to connect the three generations, 1, 1.5, and 2, we found Vox Kitchen. And Vox in Latin is actually mean voice. And this is our voice and my voice. So that was the reason.
Thank you, Viet, for sharing that. Jilin?
To continue
Yes.
with what Chef Viet just said, I guess then I should define myself as the 1.75 generation.
Right. Get professional here.
And I think I'm lucky to be there because I think I can serve as the bridge
Yep.
to the first generation,
Right.
the 1.5, and also the second generation. And for me, Little Saigon, when we first came, I am able person. We did not come in 1975. We went through the harrowing experience of escaping Vietnam by boat. And so for me, Little Saigon here represents a second chance at life, and also because of the community, the strength of this community, we're able to preserve our traditions, our customs, our language, our history, and we are the only ones who can tell our stories. So I'm thankful for that, and I guess we will continue to talk more about how we can grow this community.
Yeah, no, thank you for each of you. I really connected with that. I myself, being born in Vietnam, but coming in 1975 at the age of 1.5, I feel like I'm part of that generation that's between the first and second generation. I'm not sure what fraction I'm at. 1.5, 1.75. I'm going to find it. Yeah, I'll find a new fraction that I like. But I remember taking a course at UC Irvine as an undergraduate student from a Vietnamese American experience course from my professor, Pham Cao Dung there. And he talked about the Vietnamese American experience. And then something he said is, you are actually living on the hyphen of Vietnamese American. There's in the class, at that class, you may feel more Vietnamese, but sometimes when you go to school and you're the only Vietnamese, you feel American. So I in Little Saigon, I felt very Vietnamese with my family business, but when I went out into the greater Orange County and world, I felt American. So we got to kind of get the best of both worlds. At this time, I'm gonna go with the next question. I'll start with Julie, and we'll pass it around. This is regarding business and entrepreneurship, maybe a little bit about traditions, tensions, and transformation. But if you or your family have owned or worked in a business here, and how has that experience been and changed across generation, from the parents to yourself? What stayed the same? What's hard to pass down? So if you could talk about cross-generational or multi-generational business in Little Saigon.
So what I've seen since my parents owned a business in Little Saigon, we actually had a supplier here, and it was rented out. I think related to, my mom always told me it was Frank's team that managed that, and I think it connects to how we've done business, and one of the culture and the tradition. Like my mom always said, Frank's team, when we didn't use that area anymore, they treated us very well. Like they supported our business, and the departure was really smooth compared to other times when we went somewhere else. For example, like we leased an area. And she always told me that story, and this is my first time meeting you, so it's to put a face on it, and like you were pretty much the beginnings. So back to generations, my parents are first generation, right?
Yes.
Is that it? How I see it is first generation, they came here with nothing, they had to build from the beginning. So they had to grind, they had to hustle, they had to work hard. They're pretty like aggressive about that, like it's like survival.
Yes.
And so the second generation, me, we see that, or I see that our parents built this foundation, and we learned that the value of like working hard. But we're also but they also gave us an opportunity of education, which was what they didn't have. And so we have an opportunity to branch off a little bit from our family business as well. So things has changed, is like from hustling to having kids born here or here, and they have a foundation because of the first gen. And then now I'm seeing the third generation. Some of them don't speak Vietnamese as well, or they don't understand exactly the culture and the values per se, even though the first generation is always like, oh, you have to bow down, you have to do certain things, like to respect your elders.
Yes.
And I guess the third generation, they're finding their way, and they're trying to understand that like that's just the way that the Vietnamese culture has been. And back to the question, I guess I was trying to separate all three generations.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. I appreciate that. And by the way, I see really good food on your plates in front of you. Please start eating. Our mics work really good, so please start eating so the food doesn't get cold, because the delicious food is in front of you. So please eat and listen to the conversation as we continue this conversation. Yes.
I wanted to add because I mentioned Mr. Frank. it's one of those values that the Vietnamese people like. It's word of mouth. Like you do business with each other, you treat each other well, and
Yes.
and people will notice that. Our community will remember like, oh, that it's from this branch or it's from this person, and then I guess that's how the businesses grow and how we Vietnamese connect here in Little Saigon, like a bridge
Yeah.
with different generations.
Thank you, Julie. Anyone else want to talk about your family or the business and working here?
So this one I would add into a point where it has been an extremely difficult question for myself. I don't have a generation before me that was passing down on to me as a business. My dad's here today.
Oh,
by the
shout
way.
out to your dad. Let's give
So he
Chef
he
Viet's
worked
dad.
really hard.
Chào chú.
He worked really hard in Vietnam, stay in Vietnam to send me to school here. So it's essentially, I don't inherit anything from him directly as far as the business go. Now, but my biggest question would be, how do I transfer whatever that I'm building from my generation to my next generation?
Yes.
And I can't even think about how that would work because from just past generation, from generation 1 to 2, it's already been very difficult.
Yeah.
And you don't even know if your kids are going to take over from you. So it's famously, Mark Cuban is a multi-billionaire. So at the end, he has to sell Maverick, right? It's a great basketball team, but he has to sell it because at the end of the day, people ask him like, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, why are you selling it? The problem is, he's like, well, but that's a burden. To me, it's a burden because I feel like, well, what if my kid doesn't like it? What if they don't want to see the games? What if they don't want basketballs? So I think right now for them, the best thing I can do for them is to sell it, to get that money, and then deposit into the bank account. Now, in COVID, something happened too is generational businesses sometimes close down. And we see that a lot too. During COVID, a lot of business closed down. Sometimes
Yes.
they move out. Sometimes it just stopped, and then sometimes they just exit. Now, the next generation would be like, okay, well, what are we going to do with those businesses or money? They don't have that, right? So for us right now, the question would be, will my kid inherit all of my restaurants? Or is that going to be the burden on them, that they have to now inherit that restaurant? So what we have to now create is a system or a structure in way, shape, or form, whereas we're passing down in, effect, a system or a structure that if they really want to be joining that team, they could. If not, then they would have to find meanings in their life somehow in the future. So that's a bigger question for us now. Well,
Right.
as far as the youngest person in the panel is turning
Right.
40 this year, so that's
Right.
going to be one of the bigger challenge.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
To continue with what Chef Viet just said, even though I identify as Vietnamese when I'm in Little Saigon, but as far as the business side of it is concerned, I'm the only non-business person up here.
Right.
I don't find myself drawn to the businesses here. I guess I'm quote unquote very American in that sense, and I sort of could relate to what Chef Viet just said. So maybe moving forward, our community can think of ways we can do so that we'll make Little Saigon a little more quote unquote mainstream, so that we can reach out to the larger community to bring the attractions, the businesses to our community. Right now, it's attracting mostly Vietnamese from out of state, Vietnamese from Vietnam, from all over the world. It would be maybe for the next generation, your kids, right, to, if they see something that interests them, they will take over and grow.
Correct. And just one last
Yeah.
point to add to that too is, so for example, right now we're thinking of opening restaurants and we're doing all of these new things that's going to be, bringing whatever that we created here out into the national stage. But on the other side of the note, we can't even forget that, obviously people like Mr. Frank Chow actually built this whole entire thing. Now,
Right.
what is the next step for them? Because I don't know if we realize that the largest wealth transfer in human history is about to happen. Is that what? Sitting at like 124 trillion US dollars right now, right? In the next 10 years, the last generation gonna pass down to millennials and Gen Z. Now, what's gonna happen then? Now, they're gonna receive it with the U.S. by 2030. 2/3 of that wealth, or women. Women gonna receive all, like 2/3 of the wealth, and the whole entire world is 124 trillion. So I think the U.S. probably gonna be like what, 60 trillion US dollars in that range. What are they gonna do with all that money? We don't know what's next yet. So I think right now preparing for the next step would be very important. Not just receiving all of that, but how are we gonna pass down? What are we gonna do with all that money?
Thank you, Chef Viet. And I want to let the audience know, you will get an opportunity to ask questions of the panelists. So as we hear their stories, please think of your questions. So later on in the program, we'll get a chance to ask questions of the panelists. I can't help but think of the family business dynamics class at Cal State Fullerton. Succession planning in any family business is difficult, not just Little Saigon, but throughout the country. The data when I taught the class in 2016 showed that only 30% of family-owned businesses that are started make it to the second generation. And then the drop that goes from second generation to third generation even is further down to 13%. And then the numbers are even more staggering, I think down to like 3 or 4% to the next generation. Very, very rare to find your fourth generation, fifth generation businesses. I was just blown away by hearing Mayor Stephanie Kloffenstein from Garden Grove that she has 5 generations of women in Garden Grove that live there. How incredible is that? So just to think in terms of just generational succession planning is very difficult alone, let alone an ethnic enclave like this when each generation with education, with opportunity has so many more opportunities to go into the mainstream, quote unquote. I do want to give a shout out though to my sister Lynn because she somehow has our third generation, my niece, her daughter Kara is now in the Advanced Beauty College third generation. So she's made it and she's beat the odds in getting the next generation in, so. Next question I want to ask is, what are the biggest challenges of Vietnamese-owned businesses here in Little Saigon besides the succession planning and generation? What are we navigating today? Could you speak to that? Could it be rising rent costs? Could it be competition? Could it be the demographic changes? What is it? What are the biggest challenges as business owners here in Little Saigon that you're facing? And if you could share. That goes to any of the panelists. Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, Chu Frank. We'll start with Chu Frank and then.
Well, as I can see, we are now celebrate the 50 years of the successful Vietnamese community in Little Saigon, or in America, so to speak. And I am very, very positive and very, very hopeful to see that during the last 50 years, the second, the third generation, or anything in between has done a wonderful job in their accomplishment, in their career, education, like all of you here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And together, we become a contributor to the society in the U.S. So I'm thankful that the assimilation and the step up of the generation thereafter have brought us where we're here today. And I see that the future of Little Saigon is very bright. The business is doing well, and compared to small business across the country, I think we are a little bit ahead and a little bit above the average. So that is something to be very, very hopeful about. And then I can see cost of living raising, rent is raising, everything is going up. That's beyond us. We're just a small part of a diversity fabric that makes up America of what it is today.
Thank you. Anyone else want to talk about other challenges that you're seeing in opening a business in Little Saigon or doing business? Any challenges as Vietnamese-owned businesses here?
Well, definitely challenging. It's never been easier. It's actually getting more and more difficult, just because of a lot of red tapes, a lot of the old, I would say, I wouldn't call it taboo, but more about the status quo in a lot of the ways that we're doing things. And the next, I would say, biggest challenge for us to face the future, and I asked about this the other day. I went to LA, just some dinner, my fiance is here. We saw a little tiny robot from DoorDash running around, delivering food.
Right.
I'm like, that is a lot of guts that, these people are having all these things driving around. Like, what if it's getting to an accident?
Sure.
We see Waymo driving around with
Right.
driverless cars. And I can't think of like, okay, well, they're going to have some zip line of drone delivery very soon. Now, all of these buildings are rated for drone delivery. Like all of the sidewalks, are they going to be ready for DoorDash, and are they going to be ready for Waymo and stuff like that? So those are going to be the challenges. We think it's far away, but it's here, it's right now. What if in the next few years we see all of those things all around Little Saigon? Drones, right? Autonomous vehicles, autonomous delivery, drone and robot. Now, are we going to be against it? Are we going to be cutting red tapes? Are we going to be blocking it off? But, just speaking from my own experience too. So the other day, we have a friend that kind of approached us, and it kind of sparked something in us. So we're thinking about doing all these restaurants, creating new concepts, doing new foods, and we're, going national and all that stuff. But he came to us and he said, my dad just got cancer. And I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to cook. My wife doesn't know how to cook. They're needing somewhere to eat. None of the restaurant food going to be able to feed them. And I asked them, okay, so what are you looking for? And I'm like, well, I'm looking for FODMAP, diet that is Vietnamese cuisine, so that they can get used to it. They don't want to go out of the house, and I don't know how to cook it, and nobody know what even FODMAP is, and he's battling cancer right now and going through chemotherapy. I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like an interesting problem for us to solve. So now we actually have to start a brand new brand that we haven't announced yet, but that's what we want to do is, the old generation is going to get older and older. We have to take care of them. How are we going to take care of them? All these kids, they're Gen 2. They don't know what to do. We have to kind of just take a step up and say, okay, what if we can deliver the food to them, Vietnamese food, but cook specifically FODMAP recipes so that they can battle cancer, so that you don't have to worry about them. We take care of them 3 times a day, 4 times a day. So those are real society problems that we have to solve. Like, we thinking, now where are we going to get all these fundings? Nowhere. We can't get funding from anywhere. Like, we can talk to a lot of people about all of this. We can't solve it. And where are we going to get the money from? We spend millions of dollars every year on R&Ds and doing all of these things. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a generational gap and things that we have to kind of talk about, funding that we have to get. And, we can talk more and more and more about this, but that's where I think all the challenge is going to be, where we want to do more, but where are we going to get the funding?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So we all have a lot of non-Vietnamese friends, including, and especially here at OC Forum and in the crowd. And in fact, I want to give a shout out to one of my non-Vietnamese friends, Brian, who's wearing an awesome áo dài. Brian, yes? Everyone see his áo dài? Yes. Beautiful áo dài, traditional dress. I see Chị Mai and Tina and others wearing the traditional dress and attire as well. But what would you say to our non-Vietnamese friends who are outside of Little Saigon and who are entrepreneurs, developers, elected officials? What would they need to know about doing business in Little Saigon? And any advice that we would give them? Any?
It's to understand the Vietnamese culture and the traditions. It's to understand where we came from, because they're coming into Little Saigon, which is Vietnamese. So it's just to understand before they step in here. And I'm pretty sure they have positive, like they want to help us make something better, but they also have to respect and understand where the older generation is coming from and where the people already here are.
Thank you, Julie. Anyone else want to share? Yeah.
What was the question again?
Yeah, the question is, what do for our non-Vietnamese friends who are entrepreneurs, officials, developers, who may live and work outside of the Little Saigon area here, what would we share with them about doing business here in Little Saigon?
Well, I'm biased because I love Little Saigon. I started here, succeeded here, and I think Little Saigon just have a great pool of talents. From all of the cities I've ever worked with, I mean, I've gone everywhere. I've been to Florida, Vegas, Seattle, Washington. Actually, Seattle, Washington, I just passed by once. NorCal, LA, and here. And I love it here. Well, the talent pool is big, but also the culture is rich. So, like you said too, the culture here is rich. People that are coming here, they just need to understand that we're Vietnamese. There's certain ways that we do certain things. It might not be to someone's, from the outside world that coming in is kind of feels strange, but we have that very special something around all of our business here. But I see there's a lot of heart. Now, guiding them all into the right path, and for us to guide to the right path is key. But I think the culture is rich, the talent is rich.
Great, thank you. Do you want to add to that, Chu Frank?
I would say Vietnamese community have grown a long way, and we all have very Americanized in many shape or form. So the opportunity for service, advice from non-Vietnamese to be in Vietnamese community would be very high, and the demand is continually growing. I can see McDonald's, pizza in Little Saigon area are doing really very well.
Right.
I see Albertsons in the middle of Little Saigon are doing extremely well. Right. So is Stater Brothers. So those are evident of the opportunity. Right. So the opportunity is there, and to begin with, the first generation is less Americanized and consume less of service and good from outside the Vietnamese community. But today is completely different, even with the first generation now that they have assimilated.
Right.
The second and third generation, or any generation in between, is well aware and well accustomed with the service, including financial service, including legal advice, and so on. So I do see a very large opportunity in the Vietnamese community for culture that outside the Vietnamese community. And after all, the Vietnamese is part of the mainstream. We are mainstream with distinctive Vietnamese culture.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's funny. I think about my parents, and then I think about my wife and I, who still eat Vietnamese food. But my Orange County-born 3 children, it's all about In-N-Out and chicken nuggets and Chick-fil-A.
Spending power here is strong, though.
That's right.
I would say the
Yeah,
spending
please.
power here over the years has gone up, not down. So I don't know. We realize that Orange County is huge GDP.
Yes.
SoCal, Southern California alone is the 12th largest GDP in the whole entire world.
That's right.
Outperforming Brazil. Just Southern California.
That's right.
That's an insane amount of spending. Orange County, Little Saigon is very rich in spending.
Yeah, no, what a blessing to be in Orange County. Our county alone would stand up against many states in the U.S. and to be part of Orange County, and then Julia Trentamampos earlier shared about the data and the demographics. Now, the economic profile of a growing Little Saigon as part of a growing Orange County is amazing in terms of the spending power. And I was shared through many reports that the Asian American demographics is the fastest growing demographic of all the ethnic demographics as well. So we see that. Thank you. Let's see. On to the next question. Out to the group. What does building trust look like in this community? How do you do a trust building campaign? How do you earn customers and fellow business owners and elders in Little Saigon? How do we earn trust here? Anyone want to take a stab at that?
Well, Mr. Frank would earn the most trust, so.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Frank Zhao then.
I'm not sure if I know, but I'll take a shot at it.
Okay, appreciate.
I think trust can be built, and it has been building. The Vietnamese community, I have noticed now, are more and more people in the service sector are English spoken. Those are good trust.
Yes.
The distinctive good service and the variety of food like you have, and in the nail industry, you provide beautiful and happiness to a lot of people. So those are the bond trust that already delivery. We just need to step up to be a little more innovative and make it more innovative and more fit to the service beyond the Vietnamese community. So I think it's there, but we now, talking about that, I would say we have several official, elected official mayors and council members here.
Yes.
The other one should be taking the leadership for the business to follow. And a good understanding and a good close working relationship between small business and the local government as public-private partnership will bring about this in a very, very good way.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share any tidbits or insider Little Saigon for trust building?
I have this is from my own lens. So there's a famous person that's doing marketing, and he said about trust and brand. So if you really think about trust and brand, essentially you're just building brand to trust. It's very simple that when you tell people that you're about to do something, they can imagine it. So for example, let's just say Marriott and Nike, right? Nike worth way more than Marriott. There's a reason why. If you ask a person, hey, Nike is gonna do a hotel, you would know what a hotel would look like. If you close your eyes, you're like, oh wow, that's gonna be sport all over the wall, you're gonna see sneakers everywhere, there's gonna be a sport team, you feel it. But if the Marriott say that I'm gonna launch a sneaker tomorrow, you're like, wait, huh? Like, how do you, that's trust to us. And so for Little Saigon, I think in this last, I would say 50 years, we launched how many brands now? A lot of brands. And even so, we have a lot of national brands that we launched. There was 7 Leaves now going national.
Right.
Davian just went national. We have
Right.
I believe, what's that crawfish place? Kicking Crawfish, right? Kicking Crab went national. So we have a few other brands that we can go national.
Right.
So I
Yes.
think Little Saigon has been kind of like a bedrock of brand building.
That's right.
That we believe that when we come here, we say, where in the world that you can get the best Vietnamese food outside of Vietnam is Little Saigon. And
Yes.
so I think that's a
I
trust,
agree.
right?
Yes.
And so let's just say Little Saigon say that we're going to create another brand that is a restaurant, and that is Vietnamese, or that's Vietnamese owned. There's a trust that people know that if you go to Little Saigon, you're never going to have a bad meal. Like, so that's kind of like from our lens of thinking about trust and how we build brands here at Little Saigon.
Thank you. Thank you, Chef Viet. Yes.
For me,
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
For me, I'm a non-business person, but I guess that applies to life as well.
Sure.
And trust is, again, is quality delivery. And when Chef Viet says that you can't go wrong with the food here in Little Saigon, what is your demographic, right? And so to attract, I think, mainstream America or my generation who love food.
Sure.
I think there is an opportunity there for us to elevate our Vietnamese cuisine. For me right now, to be honest, the restaurants here are very similar to each other in terms of the structure, the menu. You open, you know exactly, you can close your eyes and you know exactly what the sections are, what the menu items are. They're very similar to each other, and also most of them do not offer the best quality. The spending power, like Chef here said, is really, really high in Orange County, Southern California. We don't mind spending the money. But why is it that a lot of us are going outside of our community to eat? Why is it that Japanese food, Chinese food, Korean food cost more and people are willing to pay more for them? I personally think Vietnamese food is amazing, healthy, different textures, and the flavor combination is amazing. We need to somehow market that, promote that, so that the rest of the world gets to enjoy it as well.
Yeah. No. Thank you both for sharing. Thank you, panelists, for sharing that.
Can I
Yes,
add
Chu
something,
Frank.
Tim?
Sure. And then Chu
How
Frank.
do we
yeah.
build trust? So my company, we've been manufacturing tools for the nail industry for over 15 years. And what I've seen is how we built trust was we came out with a product to help nail technicians get the job done, but we also want a quality product. So for the last 15 years, how we built trust was come out with a product and say, and it's what we say. So we say that it's a quality product, it gets this job done, and it'll last long. And the action and the word go together and throughout the years. So that's how you build trust. You say things and you do it.
Thank you. Chu Frank, yes.
I'd like to dovetail on that by saying that, quote, not from me. I have many friends from Vietnam who came here and say that the food, quality of food and good food and very pricely reasonable in Little Saigon and Orange County is far better than those they could compare in Vietnam itself. So they told me save a trip of flying across the ocean for a good meal.
He's not wrong. The food is amazing.
In Vietnam. In Vietnam?
The food here in Little Saigon. We've been back and forth. I fly back twice a year, and I do have to say some of the restaurants here still keep the quality pretty well. But like you said too, we have to elevate it somehow, way, shape, or form. But just don't lose the heart, right? Don't lose the root.
Right.
But yes, there will need to be more investment. There will need to be more, I would say, elevated concepts that trying to push it a little bit further. I strongly believe so.
My husband and I have also traveled a lot to Vietnam, and I have to admire the younger generation there, the younger chefs. They are very creative, innovative. I had the pleasure of tasting amazing creations, and yet still the Vietnamese traditional taste or spirit still there in the food. There are a lot of promises for the future.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting...
Require a lot of investment.
We could talk about food all day. Oh my gosh. Shout out to, I know our city managers here. I saw Lisa Kim from Garden Grove. I saw Maggie Lee from Fountain Valley. And I don't know if I saw Christine Corden, but they're all foodies. And I know we talk about food a lot. They do a lot of events around food and drinks. And I know they'll be collaborating upcoming for the other Little Saigon 50th on the food alley and all of that. So that's going to be exciting. I can't help but think also that because of the food, Little Saigon has brought pho and bánh mì we've brought pho and bánh mì to America, and many of my non-Vietnamese friends now have tried pho and bánh mì and talk about it as if it's part of the staple.
And the rolls.
What's that?
And the rolls.
And the rolls too.
Egg rolls, spring rolls.
That's right, and the rolls. We brought the spring rolls into the community. Being with Julie in the nail industry, I'm also very proud that we brought the nail salon industry to the American community. I can't help but think, along with Lynn, about our late father who was a pioneer like Chu Frank in the nail salon industry, and much like Julie's parents, and how Vietnamese have now dominated in the nail salon industry. Not only 80% of nail salons here owned in California are Vietnamese American, but over 50% nationwide. So it's an industry that continues to grow.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How many students have you ever trained in total?
We have that number. So the number of students that Advanced Beauty College has trained in total over the last near 40 years is 50,000 graduates. Woo. Yes. So if your nails are beautiful today, that was one of our graduates. And if they're not beautiful, that was the competing beauty college down the street. So just wanted to clarify that. But by the way, OC Forum, your hair, skin, and nails look beautiful today. Beautiful. I've been observing. But thanks for the question, Viet. So yes, the Vietnamese have brought many things to the mainstream American right here from Little Saigon, Orange County. Not only the pho and the bánh mì and the rolls and all of Chef Viet's incredible stuff. We've brought Foot Loc Talk to the mainstream. We've brought the nail industry to the mainstream. So we'll continue to do that. Also, it reminded me as you conversed, the late Anthony Bourdain, when he said Vietnam food's the kitchen to the world. For an incredible person such as Anthony Bourdain's caliber, to be able to say that was very heartwarming for me to hear. So amazing stuff coming out of Little Saigon, and thank you for sharing that. Now I'm super hungry. Next up, we're going to finish up a last couple questions here before we open it up to the Q&A. All right, we'll wrap it up. What role does Little Saigon still play in shaping the Vietnamese identity in America today? And how has that role changed since its early days, 50 years ago? Any thoughts on that in terms of, we talk about culture changing community here?
Well, I would say we have done a wonderful job in keeping the distinctive, the finest of the Vietnamese culture in the community. We celebrate our culture, our activity from time to time on several occasions out of the year. In Little Saigon, in Asian Garden Mall, we have twice a year. Once is we have 1 month of flower festival that come close to a month before the Vietnamese New Year. That has brought, I would say, easily 50 to 100,000 people to those events over, of course, over the last 4 weeks. And in the summer, we have 3 months of summer festival that organized Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And each evening like that, we have brought anywhere from a couple thousand to 6,000 people to the festival. So those are very, very good things that we try to keep up with, and among many other that, as you have seen. So those are really the effort that we keep doing so. And because of all that, Little Saigon, of course, become a tourist destination, not only for all the Vietnamese in America, particularly, but Vietnamese from Vietnam.
Yes.
Very, very particularly.
Yes, sir.
And not limited to that, I've seen about 15, maybe by now 20% of visitors are non-Vietnamese. So we're doing our job slowly without saying.
Thank you. Well,
And the last is because of all that, everybody in the country of Vietnamese community want to be Little Saigon and rename themselves to be Little Saigon.
Yes, I've seen a lot of those.
So by taking responsibility of that and that leadership, I am thinking of working with the local government to change Little Saigon from capital of Saigon.
All right.
Because we bring capital here.
I see. Oh, yes.
They abandoned
The plan
the
was
capital. We bring the capital here.
All right. Jillian, did you want to add to that?
Yes, I was reminiscing, in the early 80s, down Bolsa Avenue here, it's just fields.
Right.
And there are just a few shops.
Right.
Yen Pharmacy
Yes,
was the
I
very
remember
first.
that.
Maxime was the
Yes.
very first restaurant
remember.
and nightclub at night. And then after that, Chu Frank, of course, built it up with Phúc Lộc Thọ Asian
Yes.
Garden Mall.
Right.
And the culture here has changed a lot since then. Back then, we were refugees. We were all longing for the place that we had left, the Saigon that we had lost. Fast forward till now, the community is no longer just a community of refugees. We see a lot of newer Vietnamese generations like Chef Viet, like many families who have sent their children over here for education or have relocated here because they all want to live that American dream.
Yes.
And I think it is so important that we need to preserve our Vietnamese American history. That includes the stories of how we came here. And we need to separate politics from the people. we need to operate as one community, regardless of at which generation we are or where we all come from. And if we can all pull together and work together, I think we can take this community and build our identity really strong, and we can go really far.
Thank you. So at this time, as promised, audience Q&A. So please, audience members, write down your questions if you have any, and I'll work with the OC Forum team and staff to deliver the questions up so we can continue the Q&A for the next 10 minutes before I hand it back to Janice. The next question that I had earlier, and I'll put this out to the entire panel as we wait for additional questions, is if you had unlimited resources, full creative control, dream project, what's your one dream project or business you would start in Little Saigon as you honor the past and build the future? Jilin, go ahead, you start.
I really
Let's hear
want to
it.
answer that question.
All right.
And
She really
Yes,
wanted
yes.
me to do that project for
yes,
her.
he knows what I'm talking about
Let's
too.
hear it.
Frank knows what I'm talking about. Tom knows what I'm talking about. I see familiar faces down there who know exactly what I am talking about. For many years, I have been going around pitching this idea, and I think this is truly prime time for us to do this. After 50 years here in America, the Vietnamese community has grown so strong, so big. We are now a community of about 2.4 million in America alone. This project of mine doesn't limit us to just Vietnamese Americans, but it's Vietnamese from all over the world. I think in order for us to move forward with our future, to connect with everybody, mainstream, and the next Vietnamese generations, we need a focal point. We need a cultural arts center / museum and a world-class, interactive, AI-assisted, self-reliant cultural arts center museum. I have talked about this with Chef Viet, where we can have an on-site restaurant like In Situ of San Francisco, MoMA, where we get to feature amazing Vietnamese dishes or chefs, and not just from Vietnam, but we can branch out, collaborate with other communities as well. And this is also an opportunity for, we talked earlier of how mainstream America can get to understand our culture, our history. Most of the people know us as the Vietnam War or Vietnamese refugees. We are a lot more than that. We have a history of thousands of years strong. I want the Vietnam War to be just a point in history. This museum will talk about our entire history as Vietnamese to now, including all Vietnamese from all over the world. We need to also capture and preserve stories of our forefathers, like to Frank, your family, and the new generation. And we need to tell, I mean, this is so personal to me that we need to almost like write history, because history as we know it has been rewritten by the winners of the war. And we're not talking about politics here, we're talking about human experiences, human stories. And I think the best way to connect with people is through personal stories, through food, and through art. My idea here is also we have Vietnamese collectors with rare collections dated from all the way back to ancient Vietnam to now. And we would love to feature those riches to the rest of the world. We want to show everybody that we are much more than just a war. And we have enough talents, we have enough resources, and if we pull together, I'm very sure it can happen.
Thank you, Chilin. So we're going to go into speed round here just to get through our questions. So I'll ask for 1 minute answers from anyone who answers so that we can end the program on time. First comment card comes from Michelle Pham, Chalk. Thank you, great hospital. I took care of our son. Panelists, what gives you hope in looking at the Vietnamese community's resilience and growth? What gives you hope?
The youth. I think, I don't know if we realize that we're actually right now working directly with over 1,000 employees. And a lot of them are youth. They're the next generation. And by looking at them, how they react, how they treat our customers, the way that they work with all of our guests, I have a very strong feeling all of these kids are going to grow up to be very successful. And but just by looking at them and seeing how they work, I'm very hopeful for the future.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
And not just the next generation, current generation. We have amazing, amazing success stories in all different industries as well. And if we can somehow pull all of these resources together, I think we can achieve great things.
I have a host at 18-year-old trying to be solving cancer in the future. Standing right next to a busser or a food runner that he's trying to solve fully autonomous vehicles and getting security so full of autonomous vehicles in the future will be a lot safer for humanity. I mean,
thank you.
You can't argue with that.
Thank you. Next question. What can the local town or government city elected officials do to help Little Saigon grow? I know you touched on this, but yeah, anyone want to touch on this again? So please, Chu Frank.
I would say the relationship between the local government and the local business has a huge gap of understanding each other. The government have to enforce the law to make very sure it is in compliance. The business need to grow, and the two need to work with one another to come up with resolution. That's why we have government. Otherwise, we don't need government. So when government work with the need of the community, they all become winner and winner. And I do see that as a big gap, and I have experienced that the last 50 years myself. Some of it is really very good, but a lot of it is very painful.
Thank you, Chu Frank. And the next and final question from our audience, thank you audience for the questions. It says, thank you for highlighting the generational differences today. How can non-Vietnamese support the beautiful differences in your Vietnamese culture across these generations?
Can you repeat that question?
Yes. How can non-Vietnamese support the beautiful differences in your culture across generations?
Please build her museum.
Okay, all right. All right.
I just need a kitchen in there.
That's right.
No, I mean, that's
Can you put a nail
exactly
salon in too?
how I was going to answer it. We need to bring it to people, right? And we cannot force people to come to us, but if we have something that is so attractive, people will come.
So we're going to have a cultural museum with a kitchen and a nail salon, is that right?
Yes, full services.
But I mean, I think all of us remember Paris by Night. We all know it. That was a cultural, I would say, a focal point for all Vietnamese people to look at. The next generation's obviously driving all of the, like you said, nail salons and all the other cultural differences. Now we're going mainstream. We got Hollywood stars that are going to mainstream Vietnamese people. I think the next wave is also going to be in art, liberal arts, and especially liberal arts where it meet with food and culture. That's where it's all going to be the next starting point. Obviously, Paris by Night obviously having a huge cultural point in the past, but I think for the future, I think food going to bring people together, and that's why we've been investing in food for the last 11 years.
Awesome. Well, OC Forum, you've been an attentive, amazing audience. Give it up for our amazing panelists. At this time, I'd like to pass it over back to Janice, our president of OC Forum.
Thank you. No, can I use? Thank you so much. And I just want to thank you again. That was an incredible conversation. Let's give them one more hand, please. And we want to thank all of you for coming today. That was such a great conversation. We appreciate all of your perspectives. That was really, really awesome. So thank you. We also want to thank the Royal Restaurant and Banquet Hall team for hosting us today. That was an excellent meal. I'll get out of the shot. No.
We need you up here.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you. Let's get over.
1, 2, 3. Take a couple. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank Communications Lab. Thank you so much for organizing another great event in partnership with the Orange County Forum. And I also want to mention one last time, I hope you will fill out, go to the QR code and take the survey. We do have those 4 Angels tickets. The game will be on August 3rd. And I forgot to mention earlier that we are doing an opportunity drawing. And with those 4 tickets, you'll also receive a jersey. So everyone, go to the QR code, and we hope you will join us for our next program, which will be in July. Thank you so much.